Hello and welcome to part 23 of my Winds of Change video guides, Violence in the Streets. This is another fairly straightforward quest. You are fighting essentially the same stuff you fought previously. In this particular instance, however, the Ministry of Purity are fighting the Ampha and Jade Brotherhood forces. So, depending on your party setup, it might be advisable to either go in while they're still engaged in combat, or you could wait until the Ministry has won. They tend to be stronger and larger groups than the street gang enemies, and basically just take the stragglers out. I would advise waiting not for too long. So the Ministry will usually win, and if you go in right after that, then they will still have somewhat decreased energy, and possibly some of them will not be at full health. If you wait for too long, they'll be regen fully. The Ampha and Jade Brotherhood don't do too much, so it's not going to be a huge help, but they do some damage at least. And then once the fighting's over, you can join in and again focus on whichever targets bother you the most and kill those first. The Ministry's melee characters are not so dangerous. They do have some fairly potent healers that might be worth handling early, and they do have Keystone Signet Mesmers, which can be an incredible pain, because they do a fair amount of damage and a lot of shutdown on tightly balled groups, which, unless you flag your heroes apart manually all the time, your heroes will tend to stand quite closely together. So in those instances, if you see one of those mesmers, it might be advisable to take them on first. Yeah, here you see a few Jade Brotherhood. Nothing much to say, I guess. It's really just a matter of fighting through to the quest objective. You can do this entire mission without fighting anything if you bring some form of spell protection and running build, because really all you need to do is move to this quest marker here, trigger the enemy bosses to fight each other, and then whichever one survives you can pull into a group of Ministry forces and have them kill him. In my experience, the Ritualist usually survives, but I'm not certain if that's given, essentially. So yeah, that can be another way to do it. Just let the enemies do the work for you, because all you need to do is get here, trigger the dialogue, and have the two bosses die, which you can do with the help of the NPCs and the Ministry of Purity forces in the area. So you don't technically have to fight. But you don't have to fight many groups to get here anyway. I think that was, what, 3, maybe 4 encounters. So it's really not that much of an issue. The dialogue is fairly long, but after that the two bosses will start fighting each other. In my case, as you'll see in just a moment, the Ritualist will survive, and then you can deal with the survivor, and that's really all you have to do for this quest. Nothing else is required. And there you see Ryzen the Phoenix easily surviving and winning. For me, I'm not sure, it might be different for you. But he will fall quite quickly to a Pain Inverter, as long as you've got some party-wide protection, or at least have the valuable targets prot-spirited. You should not be struggling too much with him. And then, it doesn't matter if you retreat as I do or not, it's just dialogue coming up, and then these Ministry forces will pursue the street gang forces without becoming hostile, so you don't actually have to fight anyone. As you can see, they're just all NPCing it up and running away. And that's all there is to this quest. I guess best of luck to you, and bye bye.